little big head.
Seems like everybody's obsessed with the original Hideup Coike 17 millimeter, and people are finding a lot of success with like a 20 millimeter Arsenal Morningstar and similar baits. But I think there's another bait out there that can be a little easier to find that people are sleeping on, and you're not hearing a lot talking about it, but I think you will. And that's the Hideup Coike Fish M and L, which I think is medium and large. A little bit different bait, but still pretty cool, and I've had some success fishing it.
Medium fish. Gulped it.
So let me show you how I've been rigging it, what I've been fishing, and why I'm finding success. So if you come across these and you can get your hands on them, you can put them to work.
Another one. Working it over the grass.
So here's a Coike Fish M that I've had. I was able to get these while they were in stock a little while ago. I think at Bass Pro or Cabela's, maybe Omnia Fishing has had some. I'll put links down in the description if I've got any places where they're available now. So they have a similar profile, but they're a little different. Their appendages are a little fatter. Like the Coike Fish M and the 17 millimeter have a similar center diameter core. The outer diameter of the appendages is a little bigger, probably closer to maybe like the 20 millimeter baits like this Arsenal Morningstar. So from a mass of like the total profile, you're getting closer to that 20 millimeter size with the Coike Fish M, and the Coike Fish L is a little larger. I don't have any of those right now. You can see the arms are a little thicker, a little different shape. They're almost shaped like little fish or minnows, which is kind of cool. Not quite as springy. They kind of flop over a little bit compared to, you know, the traditional urchin Coike style. But you can see here in the water, they still flash and flex and have that same, and it still moves a ton of water. Still has good durability. I've probably caught, you know, close to 10 fish now on this bait. All the arms are intact, still in good shape, still has a lot of life in it. And my rigging method on this one has kind of been a line through kind of little baby jicka rig, and I'll show you that here in just a second how we did that. This is like the Shiitake gill or something like this. Pretty cool. I think anytime you're around bluegills, crappies, bait balls, fry garters, I think this could be a really good option here.
Holy crap! Northern tried to eat my bass as I was lifting him out of the water. One came back and smoked it. The double hook is getting the job done. We're just basically rigging this thing like a tiny little jicka rig. We've got the actual Hideup Fish M. We got a little split ring on the front of our double hook and a little 1/8 ounce tungsten drop shot weight. And 4 for 4, 3 for 3. So far, so good.
And this rigging method I'm about to show you definitely could be used for other urchin baits, the Coikes, the Arsenal Morningstar, things like that. So I'm just showing you what I've had success and where I've caught them. But you could definitely steal this method for your other urchin. So they all come on a post, so there's a hole there. And what I'm doing for this particular one, I think depending on the amount of cover you're fishing, you could use a double hook or a treble hook. The one I have rigged up on this rod is a double hook, but maybe let's just show the example with a treble. So for a quad, right? So if you can get your hands on the quads, almost as hard to get as actual Coikes or urchins. I'm going to show you with a number 2, which I think is a good size. Number 2, number 1, I think is good for this style bait or this size core. One thing is if you're taking it fresh off the wire, like having that hole identified as you go to insert this treble can be beneficial. So you can almost use that to push the wire through out of the way. Can make it a little easier. But basically, just get that through where just the hook eye is popping out. And then what I like to do, after I pushed it through, I like to add a little split ring right there, like a number 3 split ring, nothing fancy. One, it gives the bait a little more freedom, and then I can attach this little tungsten 1/8 ounce or lead, whatever you want. One advantage is you could use lead drop shot and you could trim them with a pliers or a wire cutter to get the weight exactly in the sink rate the way you want. But I found out 1/8 ounce for this style bait sinks about, I don't know, about a foot a second or so, right around there. And that seems to be a good sink rate. And when I'm snapping it, it hovers really nicely in place. It keeps everything centered, keeps the bait moving. It stays fairly weedless, and that these things kind of deflect, but you end up with enough hook bite here. I might even suggest, like this number 1 has a little bit better. So I would say a number 1 treble instead of this number 2 is probably not quite big enough. So, but you get the idea of the rig here. I'm gonna probably take this off. The nice thing is this thing cannot come off, whether it's a double or a treble hook. It's pretty much pinned on there, and it can't really go up the line. And even if it does, it's gonna be blocked by that weight and you're not gonna lose it. I've missed very few fish on this. You could upsize the treble depending on the amount of cover you're on. I did really well fishing this on weed edges where bluegills were spawning, suspended, where their crappies were suspended on the grass. Basically throwing it out, counting it down 5-6 seconds. I think it was in like about 10 feet of water, and then just snapping it and varying it. Fishing it much like a suspended jerkbait at that point, or a heavier, deep fluke, like a weighted hook fluke. And when they came up, you'd go to, and it just would load up, and then you can give them the beans. I'm fishing this on a Dobbin 743. You could probably go up to a 4-power, 16 to 18 pound line, and boat flipping just about all these fish on this. It was a fun bite. I used my scope initially just to understand the sink rate and watching how I worked it to make sure I was understanding how it worked. But most of the fish I caught blind casting. You could definitely watch this on scope, but I've caught plenty of fish, if not more fish, just fishing it blind like I would a Nico rig or anything like that, but fishing it more aggressively, snapping it through the water column. And you can see I've shown you several fish catches here. I got on one stretch where I caught, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 fish in 10 or 12 casts. It was pretty cool bite. And I understand these are expensive, $20 for a single piece of plastic, but they're very durable. If you rig them correctly, you take care of them, keep them away from other soft plastics so they don't melt together. You store them in a box that suspends them like this so they're not getting smashed and mangled. You can get a lot of life out of them, and you can catch a ton of fish. So, and then the other thing is, you do have the risk of a pike or a muskie breaking you off. That's why I'm fishing. I also like to fish these on slightly heavier lines, so I'm less likely to break these off because they are kind of pricey, but they move so much water, and the fish are so focused on this, I don't think they get line shy on a bait like this. So, upsize your line, upsize your rod a little bit. You can really crack on them and have a lot of fun fishing these baits. So if you're new to this, or you've got some of these Coike fish or have access to them, grab them up, get out there, catch some fish, and enjoy the bait. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of different urchins out there, and I've been playing around with a lot of different versions, and I'm getting bit on a lot of them. So I'm rolling out a whole series here on the channel to help you more successful with all the baits that are on the channel. If you're struggling with how to store them, and you want a box like this or another box, I got a whole video with 5 hacks on how to create storage for your urchin baits, and you can check that out right here next. By this time, you probably figured out that these things definitely catch fish.